evening, everybody. I must apologize for the absence of my school principal, Grant Paulson, who unfortunately can't be here this evening. But I'm very mindful of the time in the role that I occupy. Time is important, so I'll try and stick to the 6 minutes. I think it's important just to create a context as to how I got to be a part of Partners for Possibility. I attended Squeal Primary many years ago when the suburb of Squeal first started, and I think I enrolled in Sub B in 1966 or 67 when the school opened. And I enjoyed my primary school. I remember very fondly Ms. Perez, Mr. Williams, the whole crowd, and then off I went. I spent some time in corporate, and then in 2014 I received an invitation from the school to speak at their year-end celebration. They wanted to honor past pupils, and they asked me to be the guest speaker. And I remember standing on the stage and recapping my classroom. I could remember everything in vivid detail, and I made a commitment on that stage that I would go back to Squeal Primary to pay it forward and to make a difference. But somehow I couldn't find the mechanism to do this. In my role as Speaker of Parliament, which is a fairly hectic role, you might understand, I really had to learn to juggle my time. And then I saw an ad that said something was happening at Oudemolin, and I thought, let me go along. This sounds like something that I could be interested in. And I think that's where I met Salwin and Pumeza, if I remember correctly. And they got onto me, and I tell you, I said, this is it. This is the mechanism that I need to get back to school. So after a session with Salwin and Pumeza, we then had coffee. They came, met me at Parliament, and I was hooked. I never had a sponsor, but I wasn't going to allow that to get me down. I thought the previous principal had since retired, and here's this new principal who I have no connection with, but this is Grant Paulson, but he too was a learner at the school and had worked his way through the ranks. And what was quite interesting, on the first day we met, which was in this building, Grant and I were in the lift together, but we didn't know each other. So it was quite weird, because there are quite a few people in the room. We all stood, you know, when you stand in the lift and you hold your breath and you don't say a word. Well, that was the first day. But I think what I learned over this period, and I might not have been as present as many of the other business leaders due to my hectic schedule, but I certainly have gained a deep insight of the many challenges that principals, SGBs, educators and learners face, especially in areas like Squeal, Cavendish School of Skills, Sullivan, Gales School Cascade, where you need to duck the bullets and everything else that goes with it. So I don't know if Grant had a premonition that he might not be here, but he did say to me, we were going to do something different. And I had been out of the country. I just got back last week, so I just did a quick video clip, which I forwarded to him. And I'd like to, and these of you there, I'd like to know that he has forwarded that video clip, because he said he wanted a story to be told differently. So if you would bear with me, we'll watch that video quickly, and then I'll just say a few words in closing, and I'll observe the 6-minute deadline. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm seated at the school that both Shauna Fernandez, my business partner, and I both attended. Shauna arrived here soon after the school was founded in 1967. I arrived about 10 to 12 years later in 1978. I subsequently returned in 1995 to become a teacher here and eventually the principal as well. Shauna returned last year to pay forward, and Shauna is of the mindset that we need to rectify some of the problems we have in our communities, and she wants to focus on fixing or repairing our broken communities. And now we're going to listen to one or two of the learners and teachers to see what impact Shauna has made on our institution. Thank you so much. Mrs. Neft, could you give us some feedback on the Claudia Rood visit to our school, please?
I think the staff actually found the visit extremely informative, and I think it also just changed our perception of learner behavior. I think if not all of us were totally uninformed, and we also just want to thank Shauna for having arranged for Claudia Rood to come to our school, because we're always thinking that children misbehave because of a variety of reasons, but through Claudia Rood's presentation to us, we have a much better understanding of why learners misbehave, and it is largely, if I would say 99.9% due to trauma. And I think if that is all that we learned out of that workshop alone, then I think we've really achieved wonders. We have I can speak for myself, I have a much better understanding of why learners misbehave. It's because it's due to trauma. And I think Claudia's own experience of trauma in her lifetime has actually made her passionate about why learners misbehave. And it's all about trauma that has happened prior to birth, during birth, and throughout their lives. And now we have a way better understanding of how do we manage learners who display unacceptable social behavior. We know now that it's due to trauma, and we need to research, work together, and find better strategies to work with these learners. And to Claudia Rood, we say thank you, a job well done.
The trauma-informed workshop has been a very insightful experience. We teach learners that come from various communities in which they face multiple socio-economic issues, and that inevitably affects their learning abilities and behavior inside the classroom. Being trauma-informed has helped and equipped me as a novice teacher to deal with those learners in a very sympathetic manner and to empathize with them.
Louise, tell me about your experience with the Parliament group that was here.
It was very educational, as we learned many things, such as that the Premier of the Western Cape is elected by members of the Provincial Parliament. The current Premier is Helen Zala. We were also introduced to Shauna Fernandez, who is the Speaker of Provincial Parliament. We didn't expect the lunch breaks, but they were delicious and much appreciated.
Liam, can you give me some feedback on the session we had with Shauna Fernandez and her Parliament group that came in to talk to the learners?
We learned that the Western Cape Provincial Parliament is the legislator of the Western Cape. A legislator is a group of people who have the authorities to make these laws, and we had a tremendous time, because they made it fun and interesting.
Now, Kaiden, tell me about your experience with the Parliament group.
It was a lot of fun. We also learned that Parliament, the Provincial Parliament, is a public forum, and it's very important that the public is being informed about the matters and debates that are going on in Parliament. And I actually had a little song for Nelson Mandela to be like a tribute for him. I remember the song still. It was very fun, and we also had some gift bags or goodie bags that they also brought for the school.
A few months ago, we were fortunate enough as an SGB to attend a workshop run by Sadiq. The workshop focused on listening attentively, and so we did a few exercises around that. Not only did we work on the listening skills in those exercises, so we got to know each other a little bit better. He showed us a couple of videos, and one that stood out for me was the video about the trim tab theory, and how making a few small changes can have a much bigger impact than making big changes. Overall, it was a really beneficial workshop, and it was a great evening as a team.
Good day, I'm Shauna Fernandez, and I'm the Speaker of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. My journey with Squeal Primary School started many years ago when I was first enrolled as a learner when the school just opened, somewhere in the mid-60s. Today my journey continues as I serve as a business leader influencer, supporting Principal Grant Paulson and his team to add value and make a contribution to the school community. The journey has been an amazing one, However, it has highlighted the many challenges that the principal, the school governing body, the educators and learners face in education today. Whilst we might be celebrating our partnership today, I am pleased to announce that the principal and I have recontacted, and our partnership will continue into the future. I wish to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Paulson and his entire team for affording me an opportunity to be a part of Square Primary, to try and make a difference and make the school the centre of the community. I thank you. But it would be remiss of me not to honour the people in the room, the business principals, the business leaders, Sadiq, lots of people. I think I'm actually lost for words. My friend here, Ridwan. We really have developed more than just a partnership. We've become a team that are committed to each other, and even though Grant's not here, I put out a tweet to say, partner, I got your back, and I look forward to working not only with him into the future, but staying in touch and maintaining relationships with everyone in the room. Thank you.